All right, ma'am.
And we're live. Come into the room.
Oh, there you go.
Let me share real quick.
Share that right quick.
Welcome. We come in peace. Don't come in and hurt nobody. You hear me?
As y'all come in, can everybody share?
I'm sharing with some of the people, too.
All right, while we're waiting, I guess I can go ahead and do my little introduction. This is Kia like the car. Common Sense Not Common, Ladies Edition. Got some special guests in here today, man. Jada Mack is not in the house. She is not in the house.
I took Jada Mack's spot.
Yeah. She's watching, I'm sure. But Jada Mack, she took a night off or whatever, and I decided that I was gonna find some great guests, and that's exactly what I did. So I'm gonna have my guests introduce themselves. The lovely.
My name's Samantha, at Mommy Bag Yo, Instagram only. I don't have my own Shindig podcast, whatever. You can just find me there. And I'm a mom, and that's a little bit of what we'll be talking about today.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Samantha. All right, so
You got RB, better known as Robert. And that's about it. You can see me on Facebook when I go live here and there. Yeah.
All right. And it's Brandon, Mr. Robinson, you know. Farmer Breezy, Shot of Breezy, you know, whatever you guys want to label me today. But it ain't about me. It's about the conversation, and I am a dad. A co-parenting dad. How about y'all? Are y'all co-parenting parents?
I am a co-parenting parent.
Really?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Me? Mm-hmm. Co-parenting.
Co-parenting parent.
Co-parenting. Okay. Co-parenting, just working together. Working together for the betterment of the child.
Absolutely.
Period.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention, I so happen to co-parent with that guy over there.
Oh, yeah.
So
I happen to co-parent with dude over there. Dude over there. We actually have children together.
Yeah, and I co-parent with her, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
It's going to be a rough one.
it's going to be a special one.
It's going to be very
rough.
special. We got 11 people in here. Can I get all of you guys to share this live, please? Please share this live so I can move forward. We have a great topic. If anybody know me, like, this topic is very near and dear to my heart because for the past 23 years, I have put everything aside in that I really wanted to do in order to dedicate my life to my kids. So this co-parenting conversation is really important to me. We're going to start with talking about the parenting styles of our parents. You want to start?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. If I had to describe, which I never thought about it, but the parenting style of mama was more lax. It was ass whoopings. It was a lot of ass whoopings. That's not beating, so don't get it misconstrued with beatings. It was ass whooping, and I deserved every last one of them, every single word. So it was punishment. It was rules. It wasn't like too lax, but mom was pretty cool. It was just my mom. She was married for a while, for a long time, probably over 10 years. I don't know, but anyway, it was a pretty lax environment.
Yeah, me growing up was about the same. Get out of line, get your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? Like, holding you accountable for stuff that you did wrong, hitting your sisters, you know, things like that. The way I grew up was, I grew up in the projects, so, you know, if you grew up in the projects, you know how that was. So my mom was really strict at times. She kept me in the house sometimes. There's a lot of stuff going on outside. Besides that, she was loving. She made sure we had what we needed. So that's the way I grew up. And I got like 3 sisters, so it was just, I was the baby. So you know how that is when you only the baby. She gonna baby you all day. You know what I'm saying? Whoop you. And then have a conversation with you, tell you why she whoops you. So yeah, that's how I grew up. That's how my mom raised me.
That's cool though. Well, I primarily grew up with an only child experience. So my parents decided to have my sister when I was about 14. So between the ages of birth and 14, 15, straight up authoritarian style. My dad was, he worked in a field that made him deal with people that, you know, broke the law, and he was used to dealing with them a certain type of way. I got that same treatment, and then they didn't play games, so they were really strict, and they kept me under their foot at all times. So it didn't stop me. I ended up like there was no explanation. Like if I would get in trouble or something like that, there was no like talking about it or explaining why or understanding milestones or how the kid's brain works. It was just do what I say what I do, and if you don't, there were extremely harsh consequences, even if it wasn't like a harsh offense. So I grew up with authoritarian parents. There was a lot of yelling. There was, you know, I got my ass whooped too, and I actually didn't get out the house much. So they kept me very close to them.
Well, as far as my parents, for most of my childhood, my mom was, her and my dad eventually got married, but my mom was a single parent for most of my childhood. My dad was like in and out of jail all of my childhood that I can remember. I don't remember like spending like a lot of quality time with him because he was always locked up. So a lot of my experience is with a single parent. I got whooped. My mom was like, she was very busy. She had multiple jobs at times. And so I spent a lot of time, you know, alone, like with my brothers and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But so with the type of parenting styles that our parents had, how do you think it has an effect on your parenting styles?
I'll start off. All right, I forgot to add that I came from a very supportive system. I want to throw that in too. And that goes with this. Since I was supported by like my mom and my grandma and stuff like that, I tend to try to mirror that. I mean, not even try. It's just that's how I was raised. So I try to support my kids in those ways. In different ways that they think maybe it help them find their way, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, with mine, I was pretty much, my mom had us in church every Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So she was really hands-on, you know, supportive of everything we did. You know, we was very spoiled. Like, most of the time, if we asked for something, she gave it to us. You know, as far as she was a parent that that cared a lot about a lot of people. So pretty much our house never stayed empty. Our house was always packed. I'm talking about music, oldies, listen to a lot of music and things like that. Family members coming over, even if it wasn't even no cookout. It was just people there all the time. So my mom raised me, and family members pretty much helped with it because they were always at our house all the time. And I don't know how everybody else was raised, but that's how I was raised, around a lot of family. We did a lot of family things, took trips and things like that with the whole family. So that's my experience as my mom raised me, and she was a single mother, you know, because my dad was sick. So, you know, and my sisters helped as well. So That's how I was raised.
I see we got 20 people. Real quick, can I have everybody share that haven't already shared?
Yeah. The way that I grew up, since it was such, I guess everybody's childhood or how they were raised has such a strong influence on who they are. But I think when you're raised the way that I'm raised, it affects everything, not just parenting or how you see the world and view the world. But I will say this. My parents were 19, I think. I don't know. They were just really young. When they had me, they were not married. They ended up getting married after I was born. I was their flower girl. And it was kind of one of those, you need to get married because you have a kid situation, which I'm not taking away from, their relationship, but that would be primarily the reason. So when they were young and the way that they went about things or however they were taught to regulate themselves emotionally, they were trying to learn how to regulate themselves and raise a child, which in turn you're trying to teach a child how to regulate themselves because children are full of emotions. So the way that it affected me was I grew up at a very early age not understanding a lot of things. I was actually really, really good at figuring out, okay, cause and effect. So a lot of the things that I took note of, I'm not saying it was all bad, but a lot of things didn't make sense to me. So at an early age, I became really invested in trying to understand why people think the way they think or why they do things that they do that way. If I can figure it out, I can have a better experience. That's how children's minds work. So they tend to flex in different ways, whether it be people pleasing or rebelling. So I was a very goody two-shoes child. Now, the way that it has affected my parenting is it made me completely aware of all the things that could go wrong when parenting a child and how everything that you do, everything, even the small little things, I think, they're too young, they can't remember this. They might just take that one moment and remember that 20 years from now and get on a podcast and start talking about it. Yeah. So it made me understand that everything I do matters. And also, I hate to admit it, but you live with what you learn until you do the work and try to live something else. So I will say that naturally, even as much as I was like, I'd never do that, I mimicked the type of behaviors I saw. So I became overstimulated, dysregulated. So I consciously every day wake up where some people, they wake up and they're just naturally lax, like Brandon. But I have to take extra measures to be relaxed or to be understanding because that's not my natural understanding of parenthood. So I have to learn how to pace myself. He reminds me they're asking questions because they need to learn. So I'm not thinking like I would ask a question, hey, why did you tell me to do this? Do it because I said so. You know what I mean? So I have an understanding. You just do what you're supposed to, right? But no, kids need to learn. We're here to nourish them and pour into them. And so it's just really, really difficult. And it's an everyday process to try to rework and reparent myself and them in the process.
Question, Samantha, in co-parenting, do you feel like you had any toxic traits?
In co-parent, you know what? When we think of certain words that are strong words like control, that's the word I'm going to use. You think of somebody who's demanding or being aggressive, so I perceived controlling as maybe my parents, right? But I didn't recognize that there was a need for control because I didn't want anything to be unstable, right? So I've had a lot of that. So I was determined from very early on because I have 3 children, 2 of which I share with Brandon, 1 of which I share with someone else, which were 2 different experiences. But coming into parenthood with the first one, I really had to understand that you are not in control. And I definitely learned that when I worked at a family and divorce law firm, listening to people every day. You really aren't. These are your children.
You learn that from me.
So you're
no, I didn't.
So you feel like your toxic trait would be controlling?
Because I thought I knew what was best. I thought everything that I knew that I had the best intentions, and you might, but you have to recognize, especially for the women, this is not your child.
Yeah.
This is your children together, or your child
Right.
together. And so I have recognized that even myself as a first-time mom, that first go-round, and some of these other people I was listening to, they really felt entitled, because of the birthing process, which I do understand as a woman, but the reality is you are not in control of anybody but yourself.
Our first, second, and third that.
So for me, man, I wasn't always. I feel like I was a great parent. I am a great parent, but I wasn't always like the easiest to get along with. I definitely had toxic traits. I used to. I got. All right, let's get into it.
Stories,
Man, y'all. So I'm just gonna be
blows.
real transparent. I don't know how to do this. These.
What?
It ain't coming up.
What are you talking about?
This. What you see
The
right here?
comments?
Yeah.
Because ain't nobody commenting.
Yes, they did.
Is they?
Yep. All right. So let me tell y'all about some of my toxic traits. Judge me not. So I used to have anger issues. I used to be. I'm still a little bossy. I have my moments where I think I know everything, and it's primarily because I do know like 98% of the things. But there were things that I used to do, like to my kid's dad. Like I did used to physically like bop him. I used to swing. And I used to connect, and I was strong. And I used.
It
wasn't justified,
sleep,
though.
In my sleep.
Yes, you
that's
used to tear
dangerous.
him up in his.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was in
Yes.
the sleep.
You was a menace to
I did
society.
mess with. I
Sorry.
did swing on him in his sleep.
Yeah, so I'm waking up like, hey.
You didn't even know, bro. Till I just
No,
told
no.
you recently. He was like, "That's
No,
why I
but
used to
I
wake up
wake up
sore."
sore.
Yes, used to tear him up in his
word.
sleep. Don't do this
How long
at
you
home,
wake up?
ladies.
You didn't wake up
Must
with
have
you.
been
Nah.
drinking the wine.
No, he used to sleep real heavy. So I took advantage of that.
So-
That was
That's
wrong.
that's a health
Why?
concern. Jeez.
That was wrong. But
Hey, you wrong. You was picking on the week. You was picking on him as week time. G.
y'all just didn't know what I was going through in the daytime.
Okay.
So you was the vampire.
I'm talking about me though. I ain't gonna talk about him yet. So I did. I used to put my hands on this man. It was just absolutely wrong. I should have kept my hands to myself because I can't whip this man at all. This man swole, arms like this. He barely could wipe. You know what I'm saying? And had he hit me, he would have knocked me out. But I didn't care because I knew that he wouldn't hit me. So I took advantage of that. Also, I feel like I did allow people to speak on, we were married, to speak on our marriage that I should have kept a lot of things to myself. Like I spoke on a lot of things that should have stayed between him and I. And I think that's pretty much it. There was a time in my life where I was super depressed. I was lazy. And I wouldn't do nothing around the crib. It was very toxic. But yeah, that was me. That's my toxic traits, and I'm just being very transparent.
Well, mine was
I didn't give him no knots and nothing like that. He was just sore, y'all.
If you woke up sore, he had some knots somewhere.
now my toxic thing was because I was like almost like a neat freak almost. So my thing was if we had a white carpet or something, because we did pick out white carpet when we lived together, and I didn't like when I came to the crib and it was like dirt on the carpet or stuff was messed up. So I'll be working all day, 10 hours. So I come in and either I'm yelling because something's out of order or something like that, or the kids doing something that they don't supposed to do. I was like a strict parent. I wanted my kids to be on point because I came from like a harsh reality. So I wanted my kids to be on point and not take no, stuff from nobody. So when I came in, when we was together, it was pretty much like business as usual. Like when I'm at work, when I come to the crib, I just want everything the way I want it. I don't think I was that much of being toxic. I was more of a provider. I was kind of strict about certain things. I was private. I was a private person, you know. And actually, when I was with Kia, she was a little bit more outgoing and things like that. But I was more with the private thing.
Always been a vibe.
Yeah, she had a vibe going. So
You hear them?
Low vibe or high vibe?
huh?
Low vibe, high vibe. Which
Mind
one?
your business, bro.
She was vibing, and I was more private. I come from like a private family as well, so whatever happens in the house, it stays in the house. It don't spread to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I was raised. So anything happened in the house, it's like you go to Vegas. Anything happened in Vegas, it stay there. You know, on that man's trip, somebody go on a man's trip, hey, it stays right there. Even with the women's trip, hey, whatever goes on, stay between y'all. But as far as I was pretty much like wanted my kids to be on point. You know, I ain't gonna say I had too many toxic traits, but towards the end, I was an argumentative dude. I was mad a lot because it was like
You don't want to say what?
What?
You said you don't want to say that you had a lot of toxic traits?
No, I'm not gonna. I said I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of anger in me.
And bitterness.
Anger, bitterness.
In all caps.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But I'm saying the stuff you go through actually
Accountability.
make you angry and make you bitter sometimes and make you toxic. You know, it shapes you. Things that you've been through in your life actually make you who you are now. So some of the stuff that I've been through made me who I am now, you know. And sometimes you had to go through therapy. I've been through therapy, and it calmed me down a lot. You know what I'm saying? Therapy helps. And some people think it's, oh, you got to be crazy. Or no, therapy don't have nothing to do with that. They're only talking about you and how you feel and how you express yourself and your emotions. That's just how I was, pretty much.
That's all your toxic traits?
She wrote them down. She has a list right
He
here.
was, he was just going for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was pretty much, hey.
Hey, I just making sure. You good?
Bro, let's do this.
Yeah, I'm good.
We
I'm
can
good.
move on? Okay,
we can
cool.
move on.
Bro, we'll cut off the cameras. We'll let you get some payback. All right, who want to go first? Me or you?
For
Toxic traits.
No, she
no, I
already
mean,
did hers.
Oh, you already did yours?
I
Yeah,
said
she did.
one, right? Because I was the icebreaker. I mean, I'll add a little bit of pizzazz to it since Kia just put it all out there. I didn't beat anybody, but
Hey, I feel judged now.
But now, I mean, there's also relationship toxicity. We're talking about co-parenting, right? So
Yeah.
I'll talk about the co-parenting.
Well, the kids was there the whole time. But they didn't see me. Hold on, I didn't swing on this man in front of the kids, did I, sir?
No,
Okay,
it wasn't
thank
nothing
you.
like that. I mean,
I
the
mean,
kids never seen
They
none of
was
us.
around, but they
Yeah.
wasn't like right there. I wasn't
Yeah.
that toxic.
Now, just like marriage, I just think that even co-parenting with somebody is such a commitment because you are constantly reintroducing new versions of yourself. So just because something was a toxic trait then, like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean it is today. And then it's such a great
Disclaimer.
foundation to like what?
Disclaimer.
What?
You give your disclaimer?
Oh.
Now, I'm just trying to hear
It's
your.
gonna be something very toxic. She like, you know.
I mean, controlling for sure. But it really took me a while to understand that version of controlling because I didn't understand why I wasn't just a joy to be around. Like, I really didn't. And then I also would say, even if it's not co-parenting with somebody there, one of my toxic traits was the inability to emotionally regulate. Children are looking up to you. And so
Right.
the last thing that I needed to do was to speak on any type of adult business in front of them. Show them, it's okay to show them like emotions, but you know what I'm saying? Like, in a certain way that would be inappropriate, such as just being completely, depressed in front of them. I just feel like that kind of stuff could have been behind closed doors, so I definitely learned from that. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's okay. We can go to a commercial break. Hey, y'all, make sure y'all getting over to the YouTube. Go to file. Make sure y'all go to the YouTube.
I love you, RB.
Subscribe.
But you know
and
what?
click
I
the
do want
bell.
to say to the therapy.
Comments.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
fine,
reading some
real
of them, but I do want to say to the comment you made about therapy. So I'm like really big on that. I mean, it's like a lot of people are like, I'm not gonna go to somebody so they can tell me how to live my life. That is not what it is. You can even just journal. I just made a post about this recently, but so long as you do something to constantly face your actions, I think that that's a great thing. And I actually set it up so that I have one session per week personally and one session per week that has to do with my parenting and my interactions with my children, because the more that we can face all the decisions we're making proactively, the better I think that we can grow from it.
Can you read the comment?
So, Johnny Danger says, RB, you talking circles. I mean, Clara said, big ups to you, Kia, because it takes a grown woman to admit your wrongs.
Hey, I'm super mature. I did used to be very immature. We got 30 people on here. Can I get y'all to share this live, please? I did used to be very immature, and because of the experiences that I have had, it kind of like helped me to mature and learn how to get along. Really, I'm waiting on your toxic traits, because I really feel like you'll come here and say that you're
came in and
private.
gave some extra toxic. I thought you had some more
No,
stuff.
I'm
you
good.
got
I done aired mine out.
I know you beating on
we
people.
waiting
What
on
you
you.
beating on a dog too? That's a co-situation too. Cohabitat. Okay, so look, my toxic traits. I'm gonna have to think long and hard about this, right? Because I don't think I have too many. So I'm gonna reach under my armpit and grab one. Okay, but for real though, I would say a toxic trait of mine would be I hear you, but I don't hear you a lot of times. My brain runs like it's like a highway. It runs. So like I hear you, but I'm not hearing you.
ADHD in the house.
Never mind the person that's over there talking. She might get kicked out before this
too.
live is up. No, it's a lot of people watching, so she can't get kicked out. But anyways, yeah, sometimes I hear you and I don't. And then with scheduling, like I came from like a lax environment. So like Samantha is like, she's mixed. Her mom is.
That ain't got nothing to do with
I'm gonna tell you, know how they say.
That has a lot to do with it.
I'm gonna tell you though, right? Because look, right? I swear, like it's by the hour, like when, and I'll be like around. She'll be like when, and it's like I'll be looking at it like it's a setup. Because if I say when, I'm never gonna make it, right? And it be stuff like that. It be time. Be like, man, okay, like I was gonna come pick him up at 1. All right, it's 5. My bad. I mean, it's okay. Yeah, still today. So that's how
That's when you say I'll be there in an hour.
Yeah, or it's like I go on a random day. Just say I pop up. Just say if my son called me, I just come and get him. And she might be like, I had something to do on today. You should have called me. And I'm like, well, I ain't used to this.
So communication, is that your toxic?
Communication.
That's your.
I mean, that's one of them.
Yeah, communication. I communicate. Sometimes I move like I just do it what I want to do when I want to do it.
You do.
Hey,
I didn't want to label that as a toxic trait because I didn't know it
communication
was
is one of
toxic
mine
or not.
too.
Yeah.
Because when I get angry, man, I get very masculine, and you just never know what might come out of my mouth, and I could be like disrespectful.
And I hang up on you.
And will today.
I hang up on you.
And will today. But yeah, communication, I'm working on that. I think I'm getting a lot better.
Yeah.
Because there was a point where my kid's dad was not allowed to call my phone. I feel like anybody that called or texted me, it's a privilege to reach me on my cellular device. Mm-hmm. But he used to call me, and he used to be like super disrespectful. I got so many voice messages, voicemails from this dude like snapping on me, going hard on me about how bad of a mom I am and how I ain't ish. And so I did. Hey, let's talk about child support. Child support will make a man bitter. My kid's dad really made me feel like putting him on child support was a mistake.
It's a sin.
Because
Don't be joking.
in the beginning, I did ask RB.
Yeah.
Which
That's
who
true.
wanted to be called tonight.
Mm-hmm.
There were times he never want to give me cash. Still to this day, he won't give me no cash. He wanted to go, I'll buy the kids stuff. Cool. That's fine. Go buy the kids stuff. At this point, they're old enough to wear deodorant and all of that. Get them body wash and all of that. Cool. Call me from the store. RB called me twice from the store, and I ran down the list of the things that the kids could use from Walmart. That was years ago. He still ain't pulled up with it. Still ain't pulled. So at that point, what do I do as a mom? I'm struggling with these two kids. And I'm like, man, I need to do what I need to do for my kids. He don't want to give me no money. He was barely spending time with the kids. I feel like he was like bitter. I'll let him talk about that, but I felt like he was a little bitter, and he wanted to make sure the kids was me at all times. Therefore, if the kids were me at all times, mommy got to be mommy, and she can't do nothing else but be mommy.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
That's not brutal.
You got it hard in here, bro. I feel
I just feel like
You can laugh about it.
when it was a situation when it was a situation like that, I wasn't really pulling in a lot of money. So it wasn't like, oh, I didn't want to do this and I didn't want to do that. It was just similar situations you were in, you know. And actuality, I came from the streets and I was not trying to go do nothing that would land me in jail. You know what I'm saying? So I was working a job that was in Chicago. I had transferred from Georgia. They wasn't paying a lot. So I was taking the train back and forth. So I couldn't really squeeze that little extra out. I wasn't upset about being on child support, but I wasn't making enough money to even almost support myself. So I was going through, I won't say I was depressed. I just was going through the two, like, you know, the lesser of two evils. If you want to be in these streets or do you want to work? So I chose to work. So this me walking to the train, getting on the train every day for 2 years until I got stable enough to really help. So it's situations where if a man ain't making enough, yeah, he's probably gonna bitch about child support and things like that because he, you know, when child support get involved, they taking your whole check. They not leaving you a crumb. Once they put a percentage on it, you're like, man, I ain't even got a check.
I really didn't want to do the child support.
You didn't. But I actually was. Well, put me on child support. I was that type of dude. Like, hey, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I wasn't on child support until I said, well, put me on child support. Then when I got on there, I'm like, I'm tripping. I should have just did what I was supposed to do. She wasn't gonna put me on child support, and I pulled that cord, and it was like, hey, the rope's off, and I had to deal with it. But when I got a better job, I wasn't really too upset about it. You know, I just got
until I went for an increase.
Well, I'm saying I wasn't upset about it. I just made it like a savings. I just made it a part of my life. So when child support was there and it was in effect, it just taught me how to save money, really. Like after I was off of it, it just taught me how, you know, have, you know, morals of money or trying to figure out what to do with money. So it helped me start investing in things. So it wasn't all like bad. I figured it out.
So
eventually.
Do you feel like I did the wrong thing with putting you on child support?
I feel like it's the right thing, to be honest, because if you're in a household, you're going to spend way more money than that when it comes to child support.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in a household, I spend thousands because I'm in a household with my kids. I got to feed them. I got to do this. They need clothes. They need shoes. They need food. Whenever they ask me for toys, we go to the grocery store. You buy more stuff when you actually with your family than child support. And I'm gonna be honest with you. That's how I feel about it. You spend a lot of more money actually being with your family because you gotta support. I'm a provider anyway, so I'm gonna pay the mortgage. You ask me to pay your car note, I'm doing that, phone bills, all that. I'm a provider, so when I get on child support, I feel like it's less. it's less what I have to do. I pay child support, I come get the kids, take them out, this and that. That's just how I feel about the situation. But at first I was bitter about it, but I learned to get over that because the kids need to get taken care of. So that's it.
I mean, that's very introspective as well. I took a deep breath because my journey with child support is interesting, but I am reading the comments, and I'm not going to read them specifically at this moment, but I will just say in general, I recognize that everyone has a very unique and special relationship with child support and the situation of such. We have got to be a little bit more understanding to know that each situation and co-parenting couple is different. Every person is different. How people see things is different. So I will start with this. My belief is that child support in my life is a spiritual warfare. And so when I worked at the family and divorce law firm, I learned something really valuable that I apply to everything that, every issue that comes to me in life. And 3 things ultimately matter to people. One of these 3 things we prioritize. One of which is time, one of which is money, and the other is reputation. And what I mean by reputation is how others view you. And a lot of people won't admit to that, but a lot of people put a lot of stock in the image, right? A lot of people put stock in what money can provide. And a lot of people put stock in what time can provide them. So for me, time is the priority. And
Goddamn big
Huh?
clothes.
every time it's my turn, he starts.
No, it says clothes. I'm looking like it's open. It's open.
It look
Yeah.
close. No, it look close.
No, it's
It's
coming
not
this
that
way.
hard.
Right, it look
Going
close.
down. Come on.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm not embarrassed to say some people may or may not know. First of all, I don't have a personal experience with Brandon and child support. It's just never been a topic of conversation.
Somebody said child support is rough on the father emotionally and mentally.
Right, and let me
Yeah, I feel
tell
about that.
Yeah, I
you,
believe it is.
let me tell you what's rough. Going to food pantries and not having enough money to buy clothes and having holes in your ass because you can't buy new underwear, and asking your other baby daddy for $30, and when he gives it to you, you cry like he just gave you $3 million. Okay? There was a time where I was piss poor broke, and the person I co-parented with was seemingly winning. And sometimes I try to tell people, just because you go to court for child support, you put somebody on child support, honey, does not mean you are about to get paid. There are ways to finesse the system. Now it will end up catching up with somebody, but there are people who are $50,000 delinquent in child support. Just because you put someone on child support, it doesn't mean you're going to get help. It doesn't mean somebody's going to magically turn into an amazing, responsible parent. So as a young mom, as a new mom, I was desperate. I was down and out. I was emotionally in a bad place, physically in a bad place, financially in a bad place. It felt like I was being punished, right? And the person that, in my situation, that person did really well for themselves. I mean, like probably 6 figures at the time.
Okay.
That tool for them was not about the money. It was about their reputation. So it can also, in turn, be used as an adverse tool to drive you so emotionally fucked up into the ground that you turn to them and go back to them. Are you okay? Okay.
I ain't never been this bothered. Let me go
That's
turn
because
it down some more.
that's the light doing you like that, probably.
That shit real.
But
This motherfucker finna
yeah,
go
that
off.
was tough for me. And then
That's what it is.
by the time I did end up getting child support, I won after I ended up going to court, and I was berated in court in the hallways, like the embarrassment, the humiliation I had to go through from seeing people from the same town there being called out of my name. It was really, really difficult for me. And so the winnings I got at the end of that was $65 every 2 weeks. That was my winnings. And
It don't be worth it.
wait, and I ended up paying more with PTO to try to get help for the child than I ended up getting. And then I think it actually went delinquent because $65 wasn't paid. So when the state finally took like $1,000 or something, I guess I was then like berated on the internet for like getting you remember the story of BBL or something with the fucking delinquent child support that never came. So anyway, my point is it can be used as a tool to drive a woman into despair by bitter men also. So I just want to say I get that there are bitter women and there are bitter men, but understand that if you're talking to a bunch of men that are just really good fathers and it's just all these nasty bitter women putting us on child support, look at your circle. Look at where you're at, who you're talking to as well, because it's like not everybody is. This is not a unique situation. So many people are going through so many different things, and there's also two sides to a story that I ended up actually dropping all child support just in agreement so that I wouldn't be harassed or berated on a regular basis. I just wanted my daughter to be able to have a good relationship with her dad. And when I recognized that it was trickling onto the child as a spiritual warfare, I was like, fuck it. If I have to beg, I'll beg. If I have to go to a food pantry, I'll go to a food pantry. But for me, it was not worth it. And now it's pushed me even into farther, into a farther part of my journey where I'm making what I need for that and some. So I'm grateful for that experience because it forced me to man up.
Hey, see what
We got 45 people in here. If I can have everybody that have not shared to please share this live. Breezy, what's your take on child support?
Child support is some business that I don't get into when it comes to child support. It all depends on the circumstance.
Breezy,
Right.
why you ain't been put on child support yet?
All right, because I'm going to tell y'all the code. The code is you get them damn kids, and then I don't know. It's really, I'm going to tell you, though. Really, let me stop playing. I haven't been put on child support simply because, like, I don't think that it makes sense in the mothers of my children's head, because I have my kids and I really put a lot into them. Like, yeah, we have this conversations back and forth. Sometimes it turns to arguing when she loud. I mean, she yelling at me, beating on me mentally. See, Kia beat on Robert physically, right? But
I didn't beat on him.
I'm pretty vicious
hit a
with
few
the word.
times.
Hey.
He didn't get beat.
But it'll be some. But I take away what I take away from it. Like, she'll voice certain things that I'm not doing, and certain stuff I'll be like, yeah, whatever, I'm doing it. You just in your feelings right now. And then other things, it'll really be valid. So it'd be like, okay, I might not say it right then and there. Like, yeah, you right. I'll be like, all right. But I will try to switch it up and do what need to be done. So I think I wanted to make it work with as far as with the other parent, I always want to make it work. Even if we going at it, I feel like, hey, we don't have to hate each other.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. I'd be like, hey, I mean, just talk to me. Like, if you holler at me, I'm more susceptible to just you can talk to me when you're calmed down. So I don't really hear nothing at that moment, because at that moment I'm really like, hey, like, get away from me. You know what I'm saying? When you really might be saying something, this is your passion speaking, right? But it's kind of like I'd be like, yeah, talk to me later. So when it comes to child support, I think the main reason is I do what I do for my kids.
You got some from Brian. He said, should women be held accountable for the man she choose to have kids with?
Everybody should be held accountable for their actions, Brian. I mean, this is definitely not a battle of the sexes, but I will say that everybody needs to be held accountable for their actions, period. If I choose a bad baby daddy, which I just told y'all I had a bad experience at one point in time, that is totally a reflection of where I was at mentally. Sure. There you go. You got it.
How should we be held accountable? Honestly, I did have moments where I felt like I should have chose better. Is that what you want to hear, Brian? Was that good enough?
But I'm
Who you are.
saying like I don't know how you can look at that about choosing better somebody you loved.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a situation where it's a choose better. Like me and Kid was married, so I don't think it was a bad choice or nothing like that. I think it's just a situation where men and women get bitter at times, and they the path changes. So
I feel
don't
like
think
we
that-
should have had, as parents, before you have kids, there are certain conversations that we should have that we don't have. And like we bumped heads a lot like after the kids came. It was just certain little things that we didn't talk about as far as like, remember for Christmas, I wanted the kids to believe in Santa Claus, you didn't.
No,
So it was like a battle back and forth in the household. You know what I'm saying? Like even with like what my kids called my mom, like everybody called my mom a mama, and he used to be like, why they just can't call her grandma? You know what I'm saying? Like it was little things
was
like that we didn't talk about that I really feel like we should have had conversations about. You should talk about everything before you try to create kids.
I think growing up in different environments, you got a different perspective on things like Santa Claus and what you should call somebody.
Yeah.
I think your mom should be called your mom. I'm sorry, but that's just how I felt about the situation. And another thing is, I feel like we were young having kids. At 20 years old, like I had my first child, so I'm not even an adult yet. You know, so I had to like figure it out on the fly. You know, that's one thing that we do. We don't wait. You know, some people wait till they get to their career, then start having kids. We didn't. We had kids before we had a career.
Very young.
So pretty much you like trying to figure out who you are as a man or as a woman. You don't know who you are yet. And then when you have kids, you basically don't know how to raise the kids.
We were kids.
You had to
We were
learn
teenagers.
how to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So you was pretty much doing stuff on the fly, changing diapers on the fly. You know, that's just how I feel.
Kids was growing up right with us.
Right with us. That's the thing about having a young parent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to what Brian said though, I know he said women, right?
Yeah.
He said, I think both should. It should be some self accountability. If you're complaining about the other, I think first comes self accountability.
Yes.
So then the complaint won't come because
Yeah. you
you have to ask yourself, where was I at? Like where was I at in life that I dealt with this that I'm complaining about? Because then you won't. It'll kind of stop you, prevent you from talking as harsh about the other one because now
Yeah.
you was just as messed up.
You know what? Yeah.
Oh.
You know what? Like I'm gonna say this, cause I'm looking at Venus. When you're young, you ain't thinking about talking. You're not. You ain't thinking
No,
about
you
talking.
shouldn't be
try-
having kids. We were so young. We shouldn't have been having
No.
kids.
We ain't gonna say. I'm just say this. You was thinking about. It may sound crazy. You're thinking about humping, pretty much. When you're young, you like, you know, you're trying to have a girlfriend. You ain't even thinking about the consequences of other things that can happen while you having, you know, intercourse and stuff like that. So you're pretty right on that.
You know, I do want to take a step back really quick, and I just want to give my I just want to say something because me and Brandon had a conversation recently that was like, you know, I've been knowing him for a long time in different capacities, and we actually just, I feel like we never had this conversation or the growth really peaked recently because I hate to sound cliche, but like comparison is a thief of joy, right? So what I believe a parent should be or what a man should be doing, or as y'all should believe a woman or a mother should be doing, they're going to be completely different every time per person. So I have come to the conclusion, and this is why I believe no one's ever put you on child support, is you do your best. You do your best, and your best might be I saw this on TikTok, your best might be a 4, or it might be a 10. I don't know. But if I can recognize that you're trying to do your best and you're not trying to be vindictive, manipulative, or harmful to me or my child, you're all right in my book. And I think you do more than I do. I think you do a phenomenal job. I'm just saying that.
You're talking about co-parenting.
Even
right?
if you couldn't get them for whatever reason for like 2 months. You could never say, you're still gonna do your best. So there might be times where you're given 20% and I have to step it up, or vice versa. But when you recognize that you're both on the same team, so just remember, for me, the end result is the betterment of the child.
Yes.
Me and Brandon had to have a conversation because we maybe sometimes we make it sound like the issues aren't as crazy because I'm not beating him while he sleep, but
We're not gonna do that all night.
right? But I'm not like, I mean, we're not. I can't really think of anything right now, but I'm pretty sure that, like he said, I don't do that, but I have beat him down with. I have a slick tongue. I'm not talking about cussing him out or calling him out his name, but I know how to really talk. Right, I have the gift to get. I have a way of just
it's words.
I might make you want to boop my ass, right? And so I recognize that. But what good is cutting down a person or telling them what their downfalls are, where they lack at? If I want them to do better, that's not going to magically make a man or a woman feel like motivated to up their game. Like, if I'm truly trying to get to the end result and the betterment of having the two best parents that I could possibly give this child, don't you think I would be trying to help this person, have understanding for this person, have compassion and empathy for this person? So maybe they're not doing what I want. Brandon has told me multiple times, I ain't doing that shit. I'm not buying that. And I'd be mad. Maybe I do want to get mad, but it's...
With that tone?
No, he don't talk like that. You don't talk like that. But he can be pretty arrogant,
like
okay?
Back with it.
Well, no, sometimes, I mean, he can come off very frank. And
That's his toxic trait.
It's very...
My time.
Dry
indifferent.
and
indifferent.
unconcerned.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you.
Okay, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah. And
Get my sons ready and send them outside.
Exactly. But am I going to get... do we lose sight of the fact that we are on the same team? We are not in competition. And at one point, one of my toxic traits, and I think both of ours, is we lost sight of that. And it became more about the need to be right, the need to be correct, the need of reputation than it was about the children. And when you recognize that and you're like, hold on, our kid is acting up. Like, what do we do? We have to take a look at ourselves because it's a reflection of what they are. I can hear them in my ear. But it's a reflection of what we're doing to the child. Just like the partner, the children's behavior is a reflection of what you're currently doing. Everything is.
Can we go over some of these comments?
Yeah.
Hold on, wait.
What?
I just wanted to go off what Samantha said.
Okay.
Right? Y'all trying to skip past because
Every time I talk, they get the whispering. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, but look,
No.
It was. I got a question. How did you come to the understanding? Like, how did you come to the understanding of? I had it in my head, but you was okay. The part on.
I got tired of being so angry and so hot.
No, just like
Were you bitter?
with the sharp.
Yeah.
How did you say you got tired of being?
Like, there was a time where, so I'm a very, I like to think I'm a kind, soft person. I really enjoy being happy. So when anything brings me outside to a different space of like actual anger, bitterness, I am very bothered. So
I'm saying, how far did it get you?
Well, yeah, that you're right. That's the point. Like, what do you expect from doing something with malintent of any kind to a person in general? I'm not talking about co-parenting. Yeah. I don't like the way that you babysit my child, Kia. So I'm going to tell you how much of a piece of crap I think you are. And then in turn, I think maybe then you'll babysit them better. I mean, what logic is that? So I had to recognize, like, what the hell purpose is this serving to continuously battle each other? It's harmful to me, my schedule, my job, his schedule, his money, the kids. I mean, literally, we are the tree branch. We are the, what do you call it when it's the tree? The stump.
The roots.
Yeah, we are the roots, right? Sorry. The stump, the roots. But everything that's tree branching off of that is so many different facets of life that are now going to crumble around us, because that is what I believe karma is. And it's a reflection of how you carry yourself and what intentions you have in your actions and for other people.
And I asked that because It's just that I feel like both people, and when you're co-parenting, you have to set your boundary line, even if it might not be the right answer, right, at the moment, because you do need to stop and hear what's being said at you, right? But at some point, I just really think like you have to draw a line and say we can. I see it's a problem. Like I know I'm ignoring you right now. I know it's a problem, but we can talk about it later. We're not going to talk at each other, right? We're not going to get nothing accomplished. It's going to be a lot of pain and just reacting. It don't get nowhere. All it do, because with me, I look at it like I don't have nothing to say after a while. I just look like, okay, you done? Because it sounds like a venting moment. I'm like, okay, I don't have nothing to say. It's not like meant to be rude. It's just
No, you completely shut down
That would
anything
piss me
that
off.
would be. It does, but see, I was warned too by his mother, and it's like some people especially men. I realize they just shut. So I be hearing, like, I used to hear my mom go on my dad about, why you buy that North Face when you got them, and he's like, like now all he hears is elevator music because nothing about it was productive. Like, man, at least say that's a really nice North Face, but babe, why'd you spend our last dollar?
Yeah.
Like, Brandon taught me
You can
that,
tell.
honestly. Brandon did teach me that. I'm sure I taught him some things, but one of the things I gained from Brandon is like, I don't just some people might see it as bending or folding or, for the other person. But I just genuinely had an interest in making it work and being good parents together because I know we were both good people. So when I had to recognize that his style of communication couldn't be, like, he's not receiving my message as harsh as I'm putting it, I had to really ask. First of all, I had to find the right time, and then I had to have respect for him as an individual and his actions. He's just not me. He's nothing like me.
What?
You gonna say something?
About what? What she was saying about the North Face?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh, you bought a North Face?
No.
I reported my live.
Really?
Nah. I don't know.
Oh.
I'm just
So
talking.
gullible. Where la?
Yeah, I know.
Right. I don't. It say live, but I don't see it on here.
It might take a second.
It looked like
it took me a minute to refresh.
It looked like it's on still.
But
Oh, okay.
I hate when that happens.
Oh.
Okay. I don't see it. It says
All right.
now.
Can y'all? Is it frozen?
No, it's keeping going.
No,
It says-
you're
Okay.
on right now.
Okay. This one.
Well, how come two of them ain't on?
Oh, multi.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when you got your shirts taken back?
I gotta get back in it. Well, when she took my shirts, I didn't really feel like I wasn't upset because I knew we didn't have the money. It was a struggle to the point where I was working and I was doing the same thing I do now, like taking care of a household, making $10 an hour. So I was trying to fandangle that and trying to make sure my kids had stuff, my wife had stuff, based off, because it was different. In Atlanta, it wasn't expensive to live. So it was like you can make $10, $12, $14 and still be able to live. But I had spent the last, and she took them shirts back,
Did.
paid the bill, so
Did.
I couldn't get mad about it. But I was mad about my red monkey jeans I had. She took and threw away or something. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I used to shop when I was upset. I ain't really do too much yelling towards the end probably, but yeah, I used to be a shopaholic when I was upset.
Yeah. And we was at home eating noodles, and you was a shopaholic.
Yeah.
I thought people loved noodles.
I think we
we
grew
was
up on noodles, and we were struggling, and that was another part of
The kids didn't feel it or see it. Though.
yeah, they didn't see our struggle, but we struggled. I remember going somewhere. We was at a comedy place. We went out with another couple, and we couldn't even buy no drinks. We sitting that joker looking at the comedian, but we couldn't do nothing because the pockets was, I'm talking about, empty. When we were in Georgia, because they weren't really paying that much out there. And plus my job, like I worked in the restaurant business, so if it wasn't the summertime, when it got wintertime, it got real slow. So in the summertime, you can get all overtime you want, but once that drop off in the wintertime and there wasn't no tourists coming in, the money was not there. So a lot of stuff began to get cut off, and you had to work 2 jobs.
The stuff was getting cut off?
Yeah, some of the stuff was getting cut off. Well, I had to work 2 jobs and, as a bouncer somewhere at a club. So I was tired as hell working 2 jobs to support your family, but made it happen for a while though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What? Do I got a polo story?
Well, I just want to say I totally could see why you would do that. But I did see, it always, remember I told you about those, 2-second things that can really burn in a child's mind for later? Yeah. My dad is not a perfect man, but at the age of, 50, I think he's 50, I don't know, maybe 51, I got to see I mentioned in another podcast, I got to see my dad turn into a man at 50 years old. Some never do. And I know he made a lot of mistakes, and I know that as his partner might have felt that some of the mistakes would naturally cause someone to be bitter or upset or hurt. However, we have to recognize that we all have choices, 1, and then 2, no matter what anyone does to us, my personal opinion, it does not give us the right to steal someone's joy. So just oftentimes I see that co-parenting dynamics, a lot of people aim to steal the other person's joy because they feel like they don't deserve it. I'm over here struggling, and why don't you look as, it's always been me and Brandon recently talked about competitions. And so even though my dad made a really irresponsible choice and he would do that regularly, I also saw, because I was his daughter, not his partner maybe at the time, that it's so funny because the North Face didn't even fit. It was up here. He was flooding on the wrist.
Said, fix your face, kid.
He was so.
I can't help it.
He was just so happy, and I hadn't seen my dad have a little bit of joy in a while. And so when a comment was made and the way it was made, and then when I saw it just steal the joy right off his face, I'm like, damn. I wonder what, and I'm saying for both of them, not just I will not there and make one person the bad parent. I will say that they both did this kind of thing to each other. So just imagine what that might have an effect on me. They took my joy.
Yeah.
They took my joy.
So, what do y'all feel you did correctly with co-parenting? For example, we talked about all the toxic traits, all the things that we feel that we did wrong or we could have done better. But as far as co-parenting for me, even though I didn't feel like you were the best father at times to my kids, I still made sure you weren't in the dark about anything that happened in my kids' life. Mm-hmm. As far as birthday parties, you were always invited. Schedules to games, I made sure you had those. Anything that have to do with when the kids got in trouble or whatever, I did try, and reach out. And I kind of left the door open for you, even though I felt away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Most of the time, back then, my schedule always played a part in a lot of things when it came to me getting to games and stuff, because we were mandatory 12s at the railroad. So me being tired, me working so much, I missed a lot. I mean, a lot of things that my kids were actually doing. And I kind of compromised based off my new partner that I had to readjust my schedule. So my schedule was basically off the other partner's schedule. I was the only one that really can change schedules every 6 months or so. So if my partner that I was with had a day off, I was trying to make sure we covered that we didn't need a babysitter. So plus getting 12-hour shifts, I was never off on Saturday for probably I don't know. I'm still not off on Friday, Saturdays. So it was pretty much a schedule conflict when it came to getting to games and stuff. A lot of times, I'm not gonna make that an excuse, but most of the time it was my schedule. Mandatory 12s was killing me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went through COVID and I was doing mandatory 12s. I was doing e-learning. I'm like, oh my God, I thought I was gonna die. Cause pretty much like I was on third shift and I had to get up and do e-learning in the morning. So I was getting like 3 hours of sleep probably, going right back to work. Mandatory 12. So a lot of people, I think a lot of men's schedules do get in the way of their kids' life, working and trying to figure it out.
I did feel like it was an excuse because as a mom, we base our schedule off our kids. So I kind of wish I would have had the freedom that you had as far as your schedule. I didn't. So because the kids live with me, I didn't get a chance to work as much. I didn't get a chance to work the hours that I really wanted to work. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to show up when you didn't. You know what I'm saying? My kids were in sports. Kalia was a cheerleader. That whole year, you never showed up to one of the games. Robbie was in high school playing football. He started in football. He started football at sophomore?
Yeah.
How many games you come to?
I don't know. It wasn't a lot.
It might have been
It might have been
like
two.
3.
2 or 3.
I'll give you 3.
Yeah.
That was hurtful to my kids.
But
and I felt that since you were bitter, you wanted to take it out on my kids, knowing that it would hurt them, and what would really hurt me is seeing my kids hurt. So it was very, very hard for me as a parent to try to continue to be positive about their dad when their dad wasn't really showing up as their dad. He wasn't showing up at all.
I think at the end, sometimes like if you're dealing with the work I do, it was kind of like I think it was based off scheduling and me having other kids. I'm not gonna make no excuses about me not making it to games and stuff like that, but a lot of things have to do with your schedule, with your work. Work take away from everything. If you got a family, you barely gonna see your kids. Even now, like I go on break to go see my kids, and that's what get me through the day at work. Like I literally live 5 minutes away from my job, so I get off. My breaks are going to see my kids. So my schedule really played a big part in picking and choosing what I was gonna do, like if I was gonna make it to sports or not, because it was hard most of the time. But I'm not gonna sit here and have no excuses. Sometimes I could have made some of them, but yeah.
So I do understand the schedule. I didn't understand then because there was no communication. It was just more all I knew is that you weren't there. So it looked like you were abandoning, the kids, and you were choosing to not show up because there was no communication. But I do understand a little more now, but I also felt like with raising the kids, it takes a village. So at one point, we've talked about this, I felt like, my family is helping out when they can. Mm-hmm. And I felt like, the only person in your family that really, really showed up was your mom. When I say right. For my kid, everything, she made sure she was there, whether she was invited or not. Like, ma'am, who invited you? She was there. She was always welcome. But there was nobody. It was plenty of times where she was there, you weren't. And then there were times where nobody in your family was there to represent for your side of the family. Yeah,
I'm going to say this, though. Once I got out of my 20s and started really to think as a grown man, I started really realizing I needed to be at those, events. So with my kids, my 3 little ones, really based my schedule around them. So I wasn't really missing too much. Like my older kids, I missed a lot of sports, but I have flexibility with my schedule now, so I wasn't missing like too much of the sporting things, things that's going on in their life, because I made my schedules to fit my kids' life after I got more time at my job. So now I have more freedom. Now I'm like, if you're working second shift at my job, you basically can't do anything. You're talking about 10 to 10 or 2 to 10. So yeah, my stuff was jagged up. But now that I got years in, now I can choose what schedule I'm on. You don't really have no control if you don't have seniority. If you're working for the railroad or you're working for certain jobs, you can't pick your schedule. You can only work them. So, yeah, like I said, I have no excuses about it, but that was one of my things, that my schedule was always not right when it came for me to go to sporting events, though.
Yeah. I like what Dwayne said. He said, I think a lot of the time we look at other parents' actions as bitter when it's lack of communication or being inconsiderate. And I agree, because even, I had a much more toxic co-parenting situation the first go round, and even though I'm not a huge fan of the personality, I definitely can recognize where there was a lack of communication and understanding. And it's almost as if both of us were committed to misunderstanding each other, to hurt each other, because we just wanted to compete. So I think that Dwayne makes a great point, because a lot of the times we don't look at the other person or people that we're beefing with as human beings, just trying to figure it out. You got to have empathy, especially when you're in something like this together forever.
Ready?
What?
Yeah, I don't even remember the questions.
Yeah,
it
it
was
was so long,
You sleep.
Nah, I ain't sleep. We went everywhere.
I think she was just addressing me. So
Yeah.
But
It wasn't
no,
really
she
like
brought
that
up a topic
situation,
before
yeah.
that, though.
Yeah, I don't
and
remember.
asked
You got to
something, and I don't
react.
remember what it was.
she went off.
What did you feel that you did correctly with co-parenting, or you're doing currently?
I think did overall. I think I always tried to make it smooth. I think that was my thing. I just wanted to make it easy, because life get hard on both parties at a point in time. So my only thing was, man, if we can just be smooth, we can just get it, we can just be cool. We don't have to have problems. So that's always been my thing. And then like to this date, I would probably say the same thing, because it's kind of like the same stuff the same issues are gonna reoccur until one party or another understands the other person. So once the understanding come, then things change, but the understanding might not come. So up to date, I think the most powerfulest thing is just to keep it cool, so that at least if you're voicing an issue that you have with me, it could be it could be just in a healthier conversation, so that I can hear you, because I can't help it. I can't hear you in the other way. I just can't, so I think that's it. I ain't gonna say it for a third time.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, did you answer that question? What did you feel? What do you feel you are doing correctly now with co-parenting?
My kids are grown, so the things I'm doing correctly is communicating with them on a daily basis, seeing what they, doing.
Real quick, so one of the things I do admire, and I was kind of shocked when it came to you, was when Ravi got older. You didn't even talk to me about it, which it didn't even matter. But you put him down as an authorized user on one of your credit cards and helped him build his credit up. Man, I felt like that was super dope. super, super dope. Like, that was one of the best things you could do for him. And, yeah, that's it.
But, well, another thing is, with my kids, when my son came and stayed with me for the summer, and I'm the type of person like my mom was. She didn't want money from us. So my son came and stayed for the summer, and whatever he asked me for, like my truck, hey, you want to go work out? Go ahead. You want to DoorDash? Yeah. I never said no to him. So when he was working, he kept all his money. He stayed at my house for like 3 months. Man he saved up $7,000.
I don't know how he did that. And it was legal, y'all. Like, he would work he was always at work.
Yeah. He'll drop me off at work. And he'd be like, Dad, can I drop you off at work? Yeah, drop me off. He'd go get his go to the job, make his money. And I told him, look, man, just put some gas in the car. Dad, can I go work out? Go ahead and work out. He got a membership close to the house. You know, one thing about my mom, she used to give us cars. Like her old car, she bought a new car. She gave us a car. Me and my sister had a car at 16 years old. You know, we driving with no license going to Joliet West. You know, I'm gonna tell you what it is, a Grand Am. We in it. Sister driving to the school. My mom was that type of mom, and I'm that type of dad. Like, you come stay with me, you don't have to pay no bills. You don't have to do anything. Just help me out. If I need you to cut the grass or something. If I need some water, if I need that TV change, you know how your mom used to be like, go mess with them rabbit ears and fix it for me. Stay in there for a minute. That's the type of parent I was. Like, I didn't ask my kids for much, you know. So, my son, he called me now, and I give him advice and stuff, and we talk on a regular basis.
Vice versa.
So, and give him good advice. Like right now, he wanted to be a firefighter, so I reached out to a couple people, and I guess he's gonna make it happen, you know.
As parents, it's our job to try and put our kids in a better position that we were in, and that's pretty much what I wanted to do all of my kids' life. But I wanted to ask you, like, do you feel any guilt at all when it came to the things that you didn't do as a father when we were in separate households?
I was guilty of.
If you wasn't, that's fine.
Like some moments I was guilty of not showing up because, like I said, scheduling. That's a lot of, like, being on a shift that takes up your whole day. That's why I don't take those type of shifts no more. I work morning shifts and that's it. I don't care. My alarm go off. Man, my alarm will go off 10 times. I'm not going on another shift. I'm not going on third. I don't take second shift because I believe if you're raising kids, you really can't raise kids on the second shift. 2 to 2, 2 to 12. I think that's the wrong shift for a parent. That's my opinion. I'm just saying. If you want to raise some kids, first to third probably be the best shift for you. So my schedule with work really played a big part, and it was a problem for me to parent my kids the way I wanted to.
Hey, real quick question. Do you think it was anything that, like, did you think that it was anything that you could have did better, like just say understanding, like as far as you're not understanding what he went through?
Yes.
What he's going through, my bad.
I felt like I mentioned before, like I felt like I knew everything. I felt like I could have gave him more grace because I'm not perfect. And I felt like I wasn't the best at communicating. Like once he pissed me off, I would let him have it.
It was up there.
Yeah.
Yep. It was I'm not talking to you, like once she get mad, she blocks.
I'm great at blocking
me. And it wasn't like
he just got unblocked.
He said
he just got unblocked at Robbie.
blocking me.
Then you just get unblocked.
Yeah, I just got unblocked.
Cinco de Mayo. He just got unblocked. And I remember that date because we was sitting down after Robbie graduated college. Shout out to my son, man. College graduate. But after the graduation, I think he wanted me to send him some of the pictures in my phone. No, I wanted you to send me the pictures. I'm like, I'm not getting the picture. He's like, you probably got me blocked. And I look like, oh, yeah, I do got you blocked. My bad. No, because at one point, man, you're not going to call my phone with negative stuff. I will block you quick. Won't I, Robert?
Oh, yeah. You wanted me to airdrop some stuff. I said, yeah, you must got me blocked.
Yeah, and was. Yeah. So let's talk about co-parenting and dating, I guess. So when it came to Robert and his wife, there was never an introduction, and I thought that with us having kids, there should have been some type of introduction. There should have been some type of conversation between him and his wife and I, and there was never that. And I feel like it caused discord in between us, because there was really nothing to hide. Like, when it came to me and my kids' dad, there was never, like, back and forth how people go back and forth with their baby mama. Nah, we didn't do that at all. Once it was over with, it's over with. No, ain't no coming back. But it was a lot of jealousy that I think could have been avoided had there been a conversation. Mm-hmm. Why was there never a conversation?
Repeat what you said.
Why you never talked to me and Jillian, pulled us in a room together and talk about the whole co-parenting thing? Because there were issues where
I think it's not. I don't think it was. I'm not gonna say it's not my job.
Was it needed?
I think it was needed, but I think we be in a world where people date other people and they just don't like the person just off of nothing. That's how I feel.
Because of the history.
History or whatever. You know, some women may not even know the ex. And in an environment we come from, they just go along with, oh, I don't like that person.
Sometimes you have
without
to make them
even talking to the person or having a conversation with the person. I don't even think it's the man's job to really do that, but make sure the kids know each other. You know, if that person, if woman to woman, you don't talk to each other, I don't think that's on the man. I think the man already introduced you guys through the kids. So through the kids, you guys, like, woman to woman should be communicating or trying to establish a line of communication. Because everybody most people will put it on the man to do that, introducing stuff. It don't always work out like that. You know what I'm saying? Because men are easy to get along with other men, though. Like, we can get along with another guy that a woman is talking to. Because we coming over talking to the kids and things like that. A lot of men don't have beef with other men that their ex are really dating. But women tend to have beef with the other woman. And I don't know why that is, but
I do.
I don't think we should have to introduce that because it's a blended family anyway.
I didn't have any beef. I didn't care. I knew she was getting it. I didn't want it no more. You can have them, sis.
That's funny.
You can have them, sis.
That's funny.
So how do y'all feel about dating and co-parenting?
Well,
or being introduced to the previous or whatever.
Let me just say I've done it once, right? And then I ended up having 2 kids with the guy. Okay, his name is Breezy. I didn't get a lot of experience, and so I got really, really lucky and I don't think I really did it in the best way either, because it just, I wasn't in a great place at the time. I was a lot younger, and so the attachment came from a codependent place instead of a natural one. But when he was talking, I was just, the word maturity was just marking through my head, and it's like I said, we just grow into new and different versions of ourselves. Like, I remember it was a time where everything felt so impossible. I'm like, there's no right answer to anything. But there is. It just takes growth and maturity. So I'll say this, and I've said this to Brandon, because even though we've never been married, we've also been together. We share good times together. We've had ups and downs and stuff like that. We've been separate. We've done it all. But it did come to a very mature point for me, even though I've never had to deal with that, where it comes into my mind like, should we not be together? And should he ever, which never has been a priority for him, but should he find someone right? Like, let's say this is just a situation, like I've already had that conversation with myself, like, what does that look like? And to be honest with you, like, it's a little bit, I'll just say it took a lot of maturity to get here. If I genuinely want the best for the other parent of my child, whether it be number one or number two. And if you meet somebody that is your one, if it's not me, and you can display and show a love that I want my children, like when you love somebody, it brings out a whole new beauty in you, right? So it's like there might be very, very human tendencies of jealousy that might occur, little feelings that you may or may not speak on. But if it's not me, I would love for my kids to see the other parent love somebody so that they can recognize a healthy love. And so I know it doesn't always work like that. People date people and they're in and out, but I always want the best for the other parent, co-parenting, because that means nothing but good things for my child and then in my life. I can't take their choices personal because it says nothing about me. It doesn't mean I'm less than, I'm not as pretty, I'm not worth it. It just means that you may or may not be the one. So, catch me if I ever got to deal with it, right? Because I've never had to deal with it on either end. Like, maybe my daughter's dad has dated people, but has never, I've never had to deal with another person. Heck, I kind of wish I did. Like, I'd have me a little buddy that, Nala could have more love in her life. Like, I'm really open to that. But I really, really encourage healthy relationships, because if it's somebody who, got some problems and brings nothing but problems to our lives, I might have to reevaluate the dynamic of my relationship with you, because I have to protect the children first.
Right. So for me, what was the question? I just
like, how do you deal with dating and
So with me and dating, it was a lot. It was like the opposite of Robert. I don't know. Like, I hid people from my kids. Kids never met nobody. Yeah. They didn't. I used to love when they were gone because I could do me. And I was sneaky with it. My kids never met anybody at all when it came to me dating. So that's something that they didn't have to deal with on my part. But I try to boss Robert around when it came, like, try to tell him what to do with his dating life. Because I was bossy and I was trying to protect my kids, but I did tell him before, like, hey, I don't care who you talk to, but can you not introduce the kids to people that's not going to be around long term? Right. You remember that conversation?
Yeah, I kind of remember.
And he didn't care. Robert, he had them coming through, you hear me? Yeah. They didn't.
No, I think.
But that's a great lesson for the women too, because we can't control.
Yeah,
another person.
I think
you just gotta let people be who they are.
It's got to do with not immaturity, but learning lessons. Like, when you young, I was in my 20s, so I'm like, okay, I'm single. It's time to mingle. You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt.
And then you were in a relationship for 9 years, and then from that, I feel like I'm gonna be transparent, but I feel like I had like a wild moment after we got a divorce.
I think I was in a situation where I had a wild moment as well. So after being with someone for 9 years, you like, oh man, this is like a new adventure. Mm-hmm. So it was just like you were exploring.
Yeah. We got together in high school. We was very young kids.
Discovering yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, you basically discovering yourself when you by yourself. So you trying to learn self-love and all that stuff. You know, when you married or you with somebody, you guys are almost like the same. You like what that person like. So you have to almost like detach yourself from things that your partner that you was with liked. Because you take on a lot of they things they do. So it's hard to break that. But I try my best to break it. That's why I was like a little bit more like I want to say I was dating a little bit more if I could find myself actually.
There's a comment here about do we believe that the guys sometimes the reason females are at each other feeling a way towards another, or do you think it's just the females and their emotions? I think
Both.
I think it depends on the situation, but I'll say that there's something that I feel like I kind of deal with that just irks my soul, and I just pray, because it doesn't have anything to do with looks or status. It just sometimes people can admire you for different things, right? And I don't really understand the psychology behind it, but there are people that admire certain things or certain lifestyles so much so that they will go hard in the paint, not for the man, but for you, right? Yeah. Because they want to prove that they're just as valid or just as on your level, or you know what I'm saying? And so that's always been a fear of mine, because I want somebody who genuinely cares about the people in my life, in my people's lives, not any weird, jealous, malicious, ill intent type of behavior. So I think that men are very nonchalant most of the time when it comes to they let the women do the women stuff. But unfortunately, I feel like in a lot of situations, it would be helpful for the man to exert a little bit of masculine energy in the situation and lay down the line and be like, you're going to respect her. Because, again,
we ain't going nowhere. Let's start with that.
We have this child at play, and all of that drama and background noise, like I said, it just trickles down into the kids, their lives, and unhappy parents, and just not good.
Right. What you got?
I think that so you got some men, to the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got some men out there who they keep the mess up between the women, right? Because they like to see people fighting over them. Yeah. And it's weird, you know what I'm saying? According to me, I ain't nobody, but it's weird. And also, yes, I think it also contributes to emotions a lot, because a lot of times it's hard to see the person that you once loved deal with another person, right? Yeah. So if you're not in control of your emotions, yes, it will cause those issues to happen. Like, whereas I don't want to meet the wench. You feel what I'm saying? Because the man could be like, "Hey, nah, y'all gonna be cool. You gonna be cool. You ain't gonna say nothing. You ain't gonna say nothing." But I might as well not even come around the motherfucker. And it's like it's a fight back. It's just like it turns to a pull and push. And no matter how much energy a man can put towards it, it's still up to whether the women gonna do it or not, right? So I just look at it like it is what it is. If this is how the family dynamic is, eventually it might have to be a connection made between y'all two. I always would promote it. You know what I'm saying? But if it's not healthy, like just say, I would never advise her to speak with my first lick. Right? Like,
leave it alone.
I used to be like, why?
But
why not?
Like I wouldn't, and it's simply because I don't want no problem. It's peace. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, as a man too, you also gotta recognize where it's like, nah, when they want to. It's like, nah, we ain't doing that. You know, so. But
it is unfortunate because like. I always sound like I'm like the pessimistic one, but God forbid something happens to the other parent, right? I like one of the thoughts I used to have was like, what about his other son? Like, what about the village that needs to remain? And of course he has his family, but I just always felt like it was really important to have that line of communication at a bare minimum respect level, because I need to be able to show up for you you know, if something were to happen and vice versa. And plus, these children are looking at us as examples of women and how they conduct themselves. But he has a point, because we have mirrored situations with our first situation. And there are some people in this world that you cannot reason with, you cannot communicate with, because they are committed to misunderstanding you, and they're committed to seeing you fail. And that's just the truth. So when you can identify that that's the true reason, not just how you feel, you have to recognize that there is nothing productive that comes from interactions and relationships with that type of person.
Yeah.
But no, I don't even know where like me and Kia went south, because we was best friends for like 2 years, way before we had kids. And then, you know, then all the other stuff started. And it probably was because of me as well. But I think people can get back to being best friends as long as they can communicate with each other. It's all about communication and understanding each other.
Bro, I don't want to be your best friend. That's weird.
No, not best friend like that. I ain't talking
First
about
of all,
eventually
I might want to get married again. I don't want to tell this person like, yeah, I'm best friend with my kids. That
Hey,
no,
she's saying she don't want to
No.
be a best friend,
No,
but we
that doesn't work.
he's like, we're friends.
They-
As he said the other
they
day,
get-
we're not friends.
No,
Listen,
I get scared
we're
of that.
friends.
listen, Breezy, if we talking for 4 hours straight, we friends now.
It wasn't 4 hours.
It's been
first,
4 hours.
First of all, he said 8 hours first. Bro, we was not on the phone for 8 hours.
What's
For
half of
4.
it?
No, you just throwing out numbers,
I mean,
bro.
half of it,
Chill.
half of it. Like they was like I'm at work and I'm talking to her like on a regular. They like, you should be on a podcast. The other day you should have confessions of this or whatever. But we were on the phone for the whole time. They like, man, dude, you ain't hear the supervisor calling you.
Hey, this
You
is
know,
like
so,
25 years
It's
of
like-
like a lot.
Yeah, a lot of
So
stuff.
When we talk, we do have long conversations for the most part.
I had to kick her off the phone too.
Straight up.
Yeah, I got to be like, hey,
Lay down
I'm
a lot.
gone.
Oh,
Time's up.
Breezy.
Time's up. Tick, click.
You gotta
No,
kick
I'm
who
talking
up.
shit. I was just playing, I
I've
was
never
playing.
heard you say that a day in your life.
No, not two. I was saying.
No, I'm saying
I was
just-
co-signing, bro.
But
Mind
no.
your business, all right? I was
Period.
co-signing,
Ooh, okay.
bro. You hear me?
No, but when she one day she called me early in the morning. I'm usually up. I'm like, man, I got 2 missed calls. I called her back like, when you calling? You usually up. I said, well, I'm off today. So, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm usually up at 6. I'm like, you done missed called me twice. I'm thinking something going on. Like it's important. So she's like, you usually up to talk. So
I probably did well done.
we have better communication now since all this stuff is, in the past. So
It definitely
it's
feels
better
much
now.
better that, because every time we used to talk, like, it was disrespect every time. So it is a different feel now. I know Breezy getting a kick out of this, us being in the room together right now. I should see his face. Because
it.
Breezy been around for a very long time. He witnessed a lot of this, the toxic between Robert and I. And I've seen some. I don't think I've seen you be toxic though, but I've seen people be toxic to you for sure. But anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that tonight.
Yeah, that was rough.
But
Rough stage in our
it's
life.
it's man, baby steps, man.
It's just young, being.
But you know what, didn't it? Honestly, for me, I feel like it really worked to our benefit. Like, I mean, I just have to, I'm one of those people, okay, 1 or 2 things motivate you, right? Pain or pleasure. Pain is unfortunately what is the motivating factor for me. So if I can see as bad as it can get, I'm motivated to run the other way. So I became so hyper-focused on growth and understanding that it became our dynamic. We have had disagreements, we've raised our voices, but I proudly tell people all the time, like, the person that I co-parent with, I technically only co-parent with one person. The other person is responsible, but we don't have a co-parenting relationship. Thank God that we're able to have this dynamic, but it just really took, like, for me to not be able to have that dynamic, to understand how valuable this is, and the fact that we've just never disrespected each other, we've always maintained a respect for each other. I do. I believe that. What's funny?
Nah, I was just thinking about all the disrespect in 9 years that we done went back and forth, toxic to each other.
Yeah, but I had one of those too, and it's just like, it was just
draining.
You know what? But it's like it comes down to compatibility and intentions, and so I just feel like I kind of I had a kid with somebody I really didn't know, like this guy, not the other one. I knew who I was dealing with before, but this guy I didn't know because I had so much other things going on. I just saw hard eyes, like I didn't know him. I didn't have the conversations y'all were talking about earlier that I should have had.
We didn't either.
But I got really lucky because we're so different. We were raised completely different. We are so like I won't say incompatible. I'll just say like we just constantly see things in different perspectives, and we constantly challenge each other in a healthy way, but our intention is the same, and that is to be good people in this world and good parents. And so because he's my type of person, it works. But if you have a kid with somebody who's not your type of spirit, it can go really bad really quick. See how y'all came together because there's something like spirited about you.
But when took 25 years.
I mean, but it happened for some people. I've seen it in my line of work for that time being. There's still 80-year-olds beating on each other. Like, can't even, like, pay for they're using Social Security. Like, their life is literally, like, I have no idea how people can go through life and stay in that same space. But when you continuously mess with people who are not like-spirited and you continuously put yourself around people, that your life will start to show for it. So I just feel like, thank God I have that going for me. People can look down on my situation or our mistakes, but at the end of the day, I actually find a lot of pride in the ability to overcome the adversity, because even though we're not talking about, you know, some crazy stories, we've had some really low points of adversity where, like, I never thought I would be able to. There were times where I didn't think he was a good person, honestly. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. But, like,
who, Breezy?
Yes.
Like Brandon?
Yes.
Farmer Breezy?
Robinson. But, like, that is a matter of emotion and perspective at the time, because there's a misunderstanding or a disconnect. So at the end, like I said, like, it's just really important to really understand, is this an actual ill-intended person, or is this just a misunderstanding? And it's because I really think that it's even more beautiful to be able to come up from such a low point than it is to stay at a baseline level or just have complete highs together all the time.
Right.
And just to add to that, a part of that is you have to wanna believe that this person is who this person have showed you they were, right? Because if a person showed you, say, co-parenting, if a person showed you that, like, if it's something done, it's not intentional, right? If it's you know, let's say if I came off a certain way, you have to believe it wasn't that due to, like, past situations where we have sit down and talk. Because me, I'm the type, it's not toxic, but I want to talk about it one time. So it's like, if we talked about it and just say it happens again, it's the same type of situation where I'm being taken wrong again. I look at it like, you should know me. You know what I'm saying? Because we might get in our feelings and look at each other sideways, and we engage it upon the communication with each other, right? But at a certain depth, you just have to remember that this person is not really here to hurt you. And, like, just say like me, a lot of times I come off snappy to Samantha, but to me, I'm not being snappy. Cause we'll be kind of at odds. When we at odds, she don't speak of nothing, right? So if we are, she look forward in the car. She like this. I grab the kids, I back in the car, like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? But she like, it's like that.
I just don't see it completely.
So it's like the same thing that I do on a normal with a text message. I text back 1-2 words. I might not text you back right then and there. During that time, it'll come off as snappy. And it's like, whole time, we beefing, and I'm kind of like, you know what I'm saying? My bad. I ain't know it was like a snap. I really was just being quick, or it'd be the same thing. I think we just gotta want to.
This is the
Want to
king
believe.
of being misunderstood right here. Because at one point I had to ask myself, is it manipulation or is it really misunderstanding you? Because you're a super intelligent person. So when me and you have these long conversations, we had this amazing friendship, and then we're at odds and I see a whole different person, and maybe vice versa, right? I'm just speaking for myself. I was just like, oh my God. Now all of a sudden I'm panicking. Like everything I ever thought and knew is wrong. Like bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? We just kind of spiral with the negative thoughts. But, you know, we had a conversation recently where I felt in the conversation, like he just said, he made the point, but I felt that where I was like, I actually asked, I said, do you know who I am? Like, do you know who I am? Because this is the one person that has seen the most vulnerable aspects of me. You can say, and you can use any, like, do you know who I am? To even think that I would be, like, maybe he was looking at me like a bad person, right? We were just misunderstanding each other, but I had to really have a talk with myself at one point, because, like, remember how you said in y'all's situation she would go and talk to other people about the situation and get advice, and I definitely understand that as a woman, because I'm just one of those people where I always wanted to validate what I was feeling because I wasn't really sure. But I don't have to deal with these people. I don't have to raise a child with these people. I don't, whether I like it or not, right, at the time, because I'm favoring them and not him. But at the end of the day, this is who is on the team that I'm fighting against life with right now in this way. And so, you know, we had a conversation where, like, I don't know, it was like this epiphany where, like, I was like, what is this? We are good people. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it makes everything seem so silly in retrospect. Even if some, like, deep shit happens that's really hard to forgive or you have to heal from, it's just like, at the end of the day, like, I trust that the person that I decided to co-parent with is a good person. I always have to keep in the forefront of my mind, like, their well-being. Because I asked him recently, like, my question to him was, do you trust my intentions for you outside of my personal agenda? And the reason why I asked that question specifically is because that will tell you a lot. So everybody listening, I recommend that question, because if somebody does not trust your intentions for them outside of your own personal gain or agenda, that person is not as connected as you think you are. I have good intentions for this person's life outside of kids, outside of any personal feelings I may have. And so I feel like when you can keep that first, and you can look at that person with empathy in that way, then everything else will fall into place.
You read the comment?
I can't. What is it? Which one?
I don't know.
'Cause I don't.
I see Claire. She had a question. Let me read it.
Mm-hmm.
For the guys, having multiple BMs. Not saying y'all do. Hypothetically speaking, are you one who will want all your kids' mothers to know each other, or no? You can go.
Say that again.
If you got multiple baby moms, are you one who want the moms to know each other, or no?
I would want them to know each other, but they will have to do the work. You know.
So you wouldn't introduce them?
I would introduce them, yeah, but I'm saying you guys will have to do the work, because when the man is put in the middle of it, one woman gonna think, oh, you want that woman, or you want this woman. They might think different. Most women be thinking that way sometimes. So I would let the women decide if they're gonna do the work, because if they got the kids, they know the kids got to know each other, so they gonna have to fix that themselves.
Right.
The man ain't got no business trying to fix that thing that he ain't had no parts of breaking apart. So it's on the women to communicate with each other if they have kids by man. So
I feel like
That's
you
my
got to
take.
open that door. I will say that I would just never, like, overstep my, like, I was, at one point I wanted to overstep my bounds, and I wanted to, like, move Brandon around, and I was warned. And I was like, y'all tripping. Like, I was a single mom. I had some issues. Like, nah, like, I relate to anybody. Like, nah, like, I got this handled, okay? And I really thought, you know, and I'm not saying anything bad. Like, I don't know. I still don't know this person. But I'll say, like, I now know in retrospect that he knows more than I do, just like he knows more about me than she does. And so it's like, I'm going to need for you to set the tone to let me know what I'm walking into before I think shit's sweet. Because I'm the type of person that always thinks shit's sweet.
Right.
And it's
So
very
friendly.
embarrassing to find out the whole time the person is shitting on you, hates you, you know. And so
Hey,
looking like a
piggyback.
damn dunce in the corner.
Samantha is very nice though, but piggyback on what you were saying, it kind of remind me of y'all, the baby mama after me, baby mama number 2. At one point we were conversing. She did reach out to me, and this is during the time that you and I didn't have any relationship at all. Like, it was no communication. You weren't allowed to call or text my phone. I would reach out to her. Hey, my kids need woo 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 woo. Can you send? Because I couldn't call you and text you and ask you, because the answer would always be no. But there, we did communicate. I did communicate with her, but it was just kind of weird, because you didn't marry her. You married your wife, and y'all were together for 9 years, and we just spoke. We just spoke, like, for the first time, had like a little conversation, and it's been 9 years. It's just kind of weird. Like, we could have been like, I'm dope. Like, you don't even know, you could have had a babysitter and everything. Like, and it's crazy because the kids love me. His kids with his wife love me.
Yeah,
the
she
kids
had
with the
a
other man.
a situation where we were going to the movies. And all the kids, Kalia, my daughter Jalay, Armani,
You got a
Ariel,
lot of kids, y'all.
Kason. My son wanted to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. Kalia and Jalay wanted to go see Spider-Man. And my youngest daughter, Ariel and Armani, wanted to go see Little Mermaid. It was no way I was going to see Little Mermaid. So
But I didn't know who was going to see Little Mermaid. All I know was I was going to see Little Mermaid.
So Kia volunteered to take them to.
I didn't volunteer to take them. I said I would
You
sit
were-
in the theater with anybody that's gonna go in there and watch
That's
that
kind
movie.
of like volunteering.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't mind.
So they wanted to go. She said she'll go in there and sit with them. I think that was really dope. Like I said to the other parent, it's a blended family. Like it or not, it's a blended family. Like I even conversate with my other kid's mother. So it's a blended family for me as a man. If I got kids by multiple women, I'm going to tell you through the door, it's a blended family. And then you can take it from there. If I introduce you guys and it goes south, that's on the two, 3 women
Right.
or whatever. I can introduce you guys and say it's a blended family. You already know I just said it was a blended family. So if you want to call up the other baby mama that you call, I usually call my kids' mothers. Because BM's like, that's kind of like
Yeah.
a
I
ghetto
don't like
term.
that. I don't
you
say
know?
hate the
baby
term.
daddy either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit.
I said
Yeah.
baby mama.
I
on the
mean,
side.
I used to
say
have
that.
I used to have a big problem with that, but I got to a point where it's like if you can't beat them, join them. But there is like a certain level of disrespect I feel behind that word.
I don't.
Yeah, that's what I say. I pretty much say my kids' mother. Like I talk to my kids' mothers. Like I talk to Kia. I talk to my other kid mother, Shemaya. We talk. We have talks. So I don't have any problems with talking to my kid's mother. Now, that being said, like I said, it's on them to reach out to each other, to talk. Because I already introduced them as, this is a blended family. like kids say, to take a village to raise the kids, and that's the truth. So if the baby, the
Who do you
kid's
think
mother
it's
can get
on?
along,
Like, do you feel like it's on me to reach out to her and say, hey, can y'all, whatever, or is it on them to, hey, can you give me the information for one of the kids' graduation? Like, who do you think that's on? Is it on both, or is it?
I think it's on the individual that got the kid that's graduating to reach out to the other person. Each kid's mother. It's on them to reach out and say, yeah, do you want to participate in my kids?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's a ball game and
disagree. I
stuff
feel
like
like if that's your wife, you need to go. I'm going through you, with the invitation, and well, it's kind of different right now.
Yeah, it's different.
The way
right
things
now.
are,
Yeah.
it's a little different. But
It's a little sketchy right now. So, yeah.
yeah, I don't mind reaching out.
Jen said it's on whoever
You-
trying to engage at the moment.
You
Be-
didn't answer the question though.
I mean, I'm just letting y'all, y'all
I think-
like to speak. I like to listen.
Yeah.
I listen, and then when it's my turn, I'm just a little boy in the back of the room.
Yeah.
But-
In any
See,
situation, it's
I just
just
got pushed to the back of the room again.
you
Go
was
ahead.
whispering while I was talking for a good
Okay.
20 minutes.
Yep. Go ahead. I see how conversation go.
But I just feel like, you know what, it's on the person who's most mature. I mean, we can't sit here and do what do you call it when you like keep tabs? I mean, it's just in any situation. Like sometimes it's unfortunate you're gonna continuously have to be a bigger person. Just do it. It's good for the kids.
I ain't got no answer. Next question.
You did have an answer.
I changed my mind. I ain't got no-
It was
no comment.
she asked a
What
question
is
to
that?
the men.
Like what?
I'm
You
cool.
already answered it.
Okay. Okay. You want Breezy to answer it.
It was his turn.
Go to the next question.
Okay,
Please.
what's the next question, Brandon?
I ain't got no next question. I was telling you to go to the next question. Let's see.
You got on that.
Right. Yeah, answer the question.
You answer the question. I don't, it don't apply to me.
Okay. Well, we've been on here an hour and 57 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, if y'all don't have anything else, I was gonna try to wrap it up and then do these announcements. Get up out of here. Y'all have anything else y'all want to add before I? In conclusion, what's your takeaway?
I say
Give them a solution. Like how they can.
Okay, go ahead.
Nah.
What's your solution?
What for them to
What's
what?
the solution for us?
Um.
We bicker and like we went back and forth for decades. What do you think the solution is?
Communication was basically our solution to getting stuff back on track.
As far as what?
Talking as adults.
So mature conversation.
Mature conversations. That's healthy. Having mature conversations, and I think another thing is this shouldn't have played a part in it that our kid became grown.
And they start giving us advice.
They start giving us advice like, yeah, y'all need it. Hey, it's over with.
Yeah, mom, you're wrong. Yeah, dad, you're tripping.
Yeah. So they really put it to us like, I don't even know what y'all beefing about pretty much, you know. But I was saying solutions like what can be a good solution for people that go through this. What would you think it would be?
I don't know. I know one thing that I know would have helped our situation was to not like talk negatively about the other parent. I feel like that was a big thing with us. But I don't know. Other than the communication, because communication it did suck at first, but now it's a whole lot better. Oh, I don't know. What do y'all think?
I say just do it for the kids. Put the kids first. And that's pretty much that's it. Put the kids first.
Um,
Question that she said.
Next question. So, what do you say about a guy who actually doesn't want them to know each other and has kids who don't know they have other siblings? There's clearly something going on. When someone is in, like, when somebody is having situations like, for example, if he's in communication with that person and it's not a situation where he's trying to keep that person out, obviously there's something going on. Like, that's just what it is. A lot of people have multiple relations with baby mamas because it's convenient to have sex with multiple women and keep them in rotation because you don't have to put in the work most of the time. These women have an emotional attachment to you, and it's unfortunate, but it happens a lot.
Yeah. I don't have any experience. I don't even know how to even respond to that question because I don't have any experience in that at all.
What was the question again?
What do you say about a guy who actually doesn't want them to know each other and has kids who don't know they have other siblings?
It was kind of like that guy must still be messing with all three or whatever.
Yeah.
That's probably what I think if they don't
That's
want them
weird.
getting together like that. So
It's sad.
that's what I would think. But you can't be certain. So I don't know.
Brandon.
I would say since the kids are a part of it, I can't say that the first thing that come to my head is that he's messing with them. I think it's just a thing of he probably feel like he can't mix them, or is he even being like a part of the other one's life? Like is he actually being there? You know what I'm saying? Is he just in the house with you and yours? How is his other one even getting treated for him to either come over, for him to even go over there and be like, hey, come over here, you finna meet your brother and your sister. Who the hell is you? Feel me? Like, so I think that part have to be considered also, since the kids is a part of that question. Now, if it was just the baby mamas, I mean the mothers of the children, then I be like, heavy. But since the kids, I just think one, he's not doing something for. It's one of them.
Y'all good? Y'all good?
Yeah, we good.
Yeah, we got.
All right. So what was y'all takeaway about today's discussion? What was your takeaway?
I think it's important to recognize the intention of any given situation and also recognize who you're dealing with. Because you should be able to have these conversations without contesting each other. And when you know that there's nothing but negative energy coming from a given person or situation, you already know what it is. Because I spent a long time trying to justify that I mean well. But let your actions prove that. Identify the intention. Keep that at the very forefront of your mind. And then always know and remember who you're dealing with. And treat them accordingly.
Harvey?
My takeaway was just increasing sense of control. You know what I'm saying? Understanding and improving communication with the person. That's my takeaway from this. And try to lessen the conflict. Try to de-escalate situations. Like that's my whole takeaway from this whole discussion.
My takeaway is just understanding, just wanting to be understanding, and like I said, wanting to make it work for the kids, and that just requires all of everything y'all mentioned plus more. Like, with time, my biggest thing is scheduling and things like that. So, it's just consider the other person. I say that.
All right, so my takeaway, the main one is the communication. The communication have to be there, and you have to keep the kids first, and giving the other parents some grace, because we just never know, what they're going through. They go through stuff just like we do. So we should definitely give them some grace and not be so snappy, because you just never know. But let me get to these announcements. Breezy, what's going on with the Titans?
Drum roll. For the Titans. Look, we need. Yeah, that definitely is on the computer. But man, we need 13-year-olds. We need 13-year-olds and 10-year-olds. So if y'all see a 13-year-old walking down the street, don't kidnap him. Just ask him where his parents at. Get him over to the Titans, but try to get someone who got a little edge to him, so we won't have to start over from everywhere. But yeah, come out. We do skills and drills days on Wednesdays, 6 to 7:30 at Hufford. Bring them kids out and see do they like it. Yeah.
That's all you got?
And if y'all interested, contact me. Y'all can hit me in the DM. Y'all can hit Jason Hampton. He's the president of the Titans and whatnot. But bring them kids out, man. They come out here and they enjoy it. It's a community. They gain new friends, new interactions, help them kids grow.
All right, I want to shout out our fellow podcasters, Talk Your Ish, EYMF, Straight to the Point, Car Booty. Shout out to them. I think I see most of them come in and out of the live tonight. I really appreciate everybody in this room. I thank you guys for being so transparent, open-minded. We were able to have a very adult, mature conversation, and I appreciate that. It's been a long time coming for this type of thing, and I'm happy that you guys were willing to be a part of it. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it.
Same to you. Feels good.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm about to get out of here. I'm tired.
And make sure y'all tune in. The comments is not coming. The guys on Saturday. Look, we gonna be on YouTube only. So me and us over there. We gonna be on YouTube. Kid was scared, but we gonna be over there. Because we ain't never scared like Bone Crusher. No, I'm just playing. But anyway, but we gonna be there Saturday night. I would say 7:30. With me to there at 8, just to be sure. Anything y'all got? Anything on the way out?
Yeah, I got one more thing, y'all. So I feel like I'm feeling very positive tonight, and I want to do a little giveaway. So I'm gonna ask a question, and whoever responds first, I'm giving them a little mini charcuterie board on me.
Gang.
The question is, where the drum roll? All right. The question is, when it came to my toxic co-parenting traits, what was one of the main things that I talked about tonight? One of my toxic traits. Who was the first one? Thank you, Mary. Appreciate y'all. Y'all been sticking with us. It's been 2 hours.
Oh yeah, they have.
I appreciate all the comments. It's like 40 something shares. Yeah. Y'all did y'all thing tonight. I really appreciate it, man. I love doing this podcast thing. Breezy and Gentry kind of like pushed me towards it. And it really wasn't something I wanted to do at first, but I really like it because I can turn it into something positive. It don't have to be messy. It don't have to be full of drama. Exactly. And I like having teachable moments. And we can have conversations that can help other people. So whenever I do this, I try to have conversations that would kind of like help somebody else out that may be going through the same thing.
Did somebody answer your question?
Even if it's church.
You got to speak your truth, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's a really important part of the process. There's nothing messy about speaking your truth and liberating, your experience. It doesn't have to take away from someone else's.
I really thought y'all was going to say this one and y'all didn't.
Can I give a hint?
Nah. I'm looking for this one. I'm looking for this one
I thought
thing.
it was because she was such a passive pushover type
Who's?
That was her toxic trait, right?
No. What did I used to do? What did I used to do that was the most toxic thing I feel?
What, beating me up in my sleep?
All right, we about to go, man. All right.
I was so to say beat that top.
Yeah, that was it. That's what I was looking
Y'all
for.
missed it completely. I said she was too sweet. That was the hint.
That's what. I think that's it, man. We gonna get out of here. Since didn't nobody get it, I'm gonna give away something next week. Hey, man, if y'all want to come on, please let me know. Inbox me. Man, I'm pretty open to talking about any and everything as long as it's not messy. You know what I'm saying? If we can have conversations to help people, I that's what I like to do. So if you want to come on, just inbox me. If you want to donate, the Cash App is running across the screen right now. Please donate, and in the comment section, put Ladies Night. Put Ladies Night. Because the men
feed the starving kids.
They're
just
not
for $1 a
starving.
day.
They aren't starving.
I'll sing
So
for
we're
y'all.
gonna start doing on Thursday wine. I didn't drink wine tonight. I'm drinking water. I wanted to be at my best tonight. So I wanted to be alert. So I didn't drink. I just drank water or whatever. So yeah, Cash App. If you Cash App us in the comment section, Ladies Night.
Gent and breezy.
No.
It'd be much
Hey.
appreciated.
If y'all could donate, we just
Yeah,
want to
me.
we want to do a wine tasting every Thursday, a different type of wine. So if y'all could donate to that would be awesome.
They got 22 bottles under the table. All we want is a sub sandwich.
First of all, we don't got 22 bottles under the table. Don't listen to
It's like a
him,
liquor
y'all.
store in here.
Don't donate. We, like I said last week, we need some 2-ply tissue because these are men. They don't care about that hard little tissue or the tissue that when you blow your nose in it disappears. It's like powder. It turns into powder. Like that's what they have in the bathroom, y'all. We don't have no hand soap in there. So can y'all donate? I'm out of here.
Peace.